Hey everyone, so my name is Ajpat and I am going to explain a concept of which is really an idea for myself. And I was facing a problem of hosting my database somewhere, and I just wanted to host it for free because there was no such requirement like where I have to do the extensive writing of the data. Basically, not mostly it was about reading, and it was fun project. And then I just thought about of one of my lesson from my class 12th, and it was about file handling, where my teacher like taught me about all about the Python file handling with CSV, right? So at that time, whenever I used to make any product, any project or product, I was extensively using those like file handling things. At starting, I started using for like text file for storing the data, for the plain data, and I made some games there. But after a while, when I started making a project which is something related to AI. So that was very basic AI. I know most of you guys uh, build it already, some kind of if and else letter with some NLP. That was the AI for me at that time. So I used the CSV to store all the data related to that particular project. And then I thought, why not make a CMS means content management system, which is for my community, and use this CMS to store all the data for the community website. Store all the data. Now this was the plan. This was the plan for me to build a CMS with CSV. So it is really fun to learn because you have to cover lots of concept regarding this. All the DSA concept, basic DSA concept means array concept, used a lot here because CSV works on array. The base of the CSV is array. So if any data is coming from the CSV, it will be come in the form of array, means comma separated value. So that means whenever you hit any CSV file or open any CSV file, you will get an array. So you have to work on the array. This means that the let me explain you something which is the base of this whole thing. So if you see CSV, what is the structure of a CSV? It is basically nothing, rows and columns of the data, which is exactly like the database, means a table. This can be a table, right? Here we are calling it CSV, but this can be a table. That's clear here. But if somehow I manage to make it like work like real table, how it would be like, how I can make this work like a real table of database. So we have to understand how database works on the base level, not on the depth, because if you go in the depth, there are lots of concept which even I don't know about now, and I have to explore that also. So what I thought, that why only CMS, why not make a proper database management system with myself to explore the concept of DBMS, to just explore it like how thing will work. So I know the CSV doesn't actually belongs to the DBMS, but still we can just explore it for our purpose. So that's why I'm exploring it. So what I thought of first, that first let's make the CSV read all the data from the CSV. Means the data which is stored on the CSV should be visible to our website, right? That was the plan. That was the whole plan here. Now, how would I do it, and how I'm going to make all the things? So I've already made the code. In next video, I guess I will explain the code also. But for now, what was the concept and what was the base idea, I'm going to explain you, and how does it work, so that you can also try. Now the base idea was, we know that database works on table. I am talking about RDBMS, not MongoDB or not some other database. I am just talking about RDBMS, mostly SQL. You can say MySQL or any other DBMS. So for now, consider that we are working on RDBMS, and the data is in a table form. So what I wanted, that we know that database is in table form, CSV also is in table form, so there are few similarities in between those things, right? So that means we can work on them perfectly without any issue. So what I tried, that why not just form some kind of pipeline. This is not a pipeline, this can be a API also. I am calling it pipeline for my satisfaction because I want to look cool in front of you guys. Okay, so for some instance, just think about it like a API. And what does API do here? That it goes to the CSV, it takes the data from here and it pastes it, like it takes the data from here and format it. Format means, like in my language it can format, for your language it can be parse, and for some like there are other terms for this. You can say mapping, right? Mapping, we'll do the mapping. Now this is the whole idea, this is a very raw idea. So how we are going to approach and how we are going to work, that's the main thing. I am going to tell you the base idea. Very, I'm repeating myself because this is not something which I'm going to tell you everything. You have to figure it out on your own also. Like you can use your brain so that you can make lots of things. So in the next video I will explain everything, but for now I will give you the idea of how to work with database and how to like actually work with CSV and create it like a database, right? That's the idea. Yeah. So as I told, it is in a form of rows and columns. So let's make a CSV. This is a CSV, right? And when we know that whenever we request the CSV, it will give us the array, and array will have set of array. Means this will be a row, this will be a row, and in this, like let's say 1 2 3 1 2 3, this will be a column, this will be a column, this will be a column. Means it will send us an array which have multiple arrays inside it, and every array will represent a row, and every element of that row will represent the column, right? So now let's move forward with another thing. Now we know that this particular thing works in array, so we can easily perform the operations on it. But what do we actually need? What is the basic need here? So if we look at the whole concept here, so the main need of the API is to map the data. And how we are going to map the data? We are going to iterate through this whole array, and after going one by one, we are going to get the parameters from this. So this is something which you can't understand here when I'm telling you. I will explain it in more depth. Let me try to make it easy for you. So first of all, if we make a CSV, we know that first line will be going to the title. Title line means every row name and everything will be here. Now the main thing is, if we have title, we have name, we have class, we have section, we have roll number, right? Now every column will have a title, right? But when it comes to the CSV, it doesn't consider it as a title. It is like a data type. I mean, it is like a data. So we know that we have to ignore when we are accessing the CSV. So that's a very basic logic. You can just do that. Okay, what we want is that array of the whole rows, but 0th element should be not considered here. Okay, so this is very easy logic which you can use. Now one problem is solved. Now how we are going to map this? So we don't have any key value pair here, that is clear, and that's what we have to make, right? We have to make key value pair out of an array. So consider it as a matrix, right? Consider it as a matrix. Now if you see, we have rows and columns which is similar to the table, but we don't have we don't have any key value pair. That's the problem here. So how to solve this problem? For solving this problem, we'll just use basic of array, that indexing, like index will be the key and its element will be the value. Means for every index there will be an element. That's the truth. That's the truth about the array. So if you see, we, even though we don't have key value pair, we also have key value pair. But the thing is that in this key value pair there is nothing clear. 0 can be anything. 0 can be class, 0 can be section, 0 can be roll number. It depends upon the starting of the CSV. Let's say if I change the name with class, so it is not universal for everything, right? But when it comes to data DBMS, when you use, like, let's say data student and dot name, then name only come, it doesn't matter where it is placed. It is in top, it is in bottom, it is in middle, right? But when it comes to here, it is all about the indexing, it is all about the positions, right? So what I'm trying to do here is that trying to make a hard-coded solution right now. This is a hard-coded solution which will be eventually turned into a robust solution. We are going to see how in upcoming videos. I'm still figuring it out. But right now, what I can get from this idea is that the hard coding is the main solution here. Yes, for the first iteration, for the first version, I will use hard coding. Then for the second version, I will optimize the hard coding, and for the third version, I will use all the data, all the knowledge of myself, to convert it to the robust, so that you can use somehow, because there is lots of way which we can do it, by which we can do it, right? Now this is the whole concept. I think it's clear to you. We are converting an array of arrays which have rows and columns to an JSON format, which will be a key and value pair, and how we are going to do it by using hard coding. And now that's on you, because I'm giving you the concept. That's on you how you can hard code this, because when I explain you everything will be clear. Now this was the one problem. Let's say first problem was mapping, right? Mapping is done. Sorry for my bad handwriting, but mapping is done. Let's say mapping is done. Now second is, we know that database is connected to each other with the key also, right? We have a foreign key, we have primary key. So database is connected to those tables with keys. And if we use CSV, we know that there is no concept of keys. Yes, we can connect them, but like there is no key. Like you want to access data and you just want to find, okay, the ID of this is okay. So there are formulas, but that doesn't work on the coding part. You have to write the code for that. You have to get all the data from the CSV, then you have to find the right data, and then you have to perform the operations, right? So this is very clear here. But what we have to make a relational database. So how we are going to make? We are going to make sure that's straightforward. We are going to make sure that in every sheet, if it is connected, there will be a common ID. Let's say it's a event named sheet, then event will have, let's say, members, and member will have separate details, but which event they are participating, it's their ID, and it will be event ID, and that will be mapped to it, right? Now how we are going to do that, we'll see in the code. Now that's very basic concept, and that's a very raw idea how things are going to work. So I don't know it makes sense to you, I don't know how you are going to understand this, but that's a very basic but an interesting idea to work on, because you have to make sure everything should work fine. At the same time, you have to make sure everything should be optimal. The solution should be optimal. And for that, we are going to work properly on the coding part. First step will be hard coding, and second step will be optimization. In between that, version 1, version 2, that will be my way. You can choose anything else, like you can just go to see the direct to the optimal solution, but I am first going through hard coding, then version 1, version 2, as I said, then optimal solution. So that was the idea, that was the whole thing.